In the headlines, Federal High Court affirms Adebutu as People's Democratic Party governorship candidate in Ogun State. Nigeria's First Lady Aisha Buhari to testify against university students Aminu Adamu over alleged defamatory tweet as NANS plans nationwide protest on Monday. NNPC says 2 billion litres of petrol in stock despite fuel queues. And on the foreign scene, South Africa's ruling ANC calls for urgent talks as pressure grows on President Ramaphosa. Hello and welcome to Trust TV News Update. I am Nten Ekpang. And on the news in full, a federal high court sitting in Abuja on Thursday affirmed Oladipo Adebutu as the winner of the governorship primary of the People's Democratic Party, the PDP, in Ogun State. This was after the court presided over by Justice Inyang Court dismissed a suit by Jimmy Lawal for lacking reliable and credible evidence. Lawal, who contested the May 25 governorship primary election of the PDP, had challenged the emergence of Adebutu, alleging that an invalid delegate list was fraudulently used by the PDP to conduct the election. Delivering the judgment, Justice Ekwo described Lawal as a spoiler, having joined the PDP in March from the All Progressives Congress, the APC, and participated in the governorship primary held in May. The court also held that the delegate list which Lawal challenged was the same list approved by the PDP and the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, and used during the primary through which Adebutu emerged as the candidate of the party. And Justice Binta Nyako of the Federal High Court Abuja has nullified the All Progressives Grand Alliance APGA governorship primary held on May 29, 2022 in Abia State. The judge subsequently ordered that a fresh primary be conducted within 14 days. Justice Nyako made the order in a judgment on a suit by Chikwe Udensi, challenging the outcome of the APGA governorship primary purportedly won by Greg Ibe. The judge observed that from the evidence and testimonies of witnesses, the May 29 APGA governorship primary in Abia was flawed and marred by irregularities. Udensi lost to Ibe at the APGA primary but headed to the court to challenge the outcome of the election. Specifically, Udensi had urged the court to declare him winner of the APGA governorship primary, or, in the alternative, order for the conduct of a fresh election. Now, insecurity may hamper the conduct of the elections in 2023 in some volatile areas in the country, particularly the north, if measures are not put in place to contain the security challenges before the polls. A security expert in Kaduna says in order not to disenfranchise residents of volatile areas, improved synergy among security agencies and resources must be deployed to deal with the menace head-on. The report.
Insurgency, banditry, and other crimes have been lingered for more than a decade in the north. Communities have been ransacked and many devastated due to attacks by bandits, Boko Haram, and other criminal elements in the north. Although the general election is a few months away, some areas are still volatile, with criminal elements terrorizing communities. With the persistent security challenges, people are expressing fears about whether or not elections will take place in volatile areas. Despite these reservations, security expert Ibrahim Garba says such areas must not be overlooked or else many people will be disenfranchised.
The volatile areas cannot be overlooked, mainly because if they are overlooked, automatically the election will not be considered to be complete election. And again, some residents of those or people that are living around those volatile areas will be disenfranchised.
He says if the insecurity persists, election may not hold in these areas, especially in the north.
Well, when this insecurity persists, election cannot be conducted. That is why it is the primary duty of the government to ensure that the security challenges have been adequately taken care of.
A security expert says government must beef up security in those areas for the election to hold.
What the government will need to do is to ensure that security beefed up in those areas. The recent measures being taken by the government is an indicative that these security challenges, particularly in the volatile areas, are going to be taken proper care of before the time of the election.
Despite the gloomy picture, Garba is optimistic that the government will address the security challenges and restore hope in those volatile areas. Bello Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
A report by the Tony Blair Institute has revealed that no fewer than 1,525 people were killed in election-related violence across the country in the last 5 election cycles. The institute has also raised fears that the 2023 elections may equally be characterized by serious disruptions from violence, particularly by terrorist bodies like Boko Haram, the indigenous people of Biafra IPOB, and bandits. The electioneering-related violence, coupled with the insecurity ravaging some parts of the country, has heightened fears among voters, the electoral body INEC, political parties, civil society groups, and even security agencies. The report, exclusively obtained by Daily Trust, concluded that unless concerted efforts are made to maintain peace and ensure politicians respect the outcome of the election, 2023 may see a post-election scenario similar to that of 2011. Nigeria's First Lady Aisha Buhari is billed to testify against Aminu Adamu, a student of the Federal University Dutse, Jigawa State, for allegedly defaming her. Adamu was alleged to have published a defamatory statement on his Twitter handle against Buhari. The tweet was posted on June 8, but Adamu was trailed by a team of detectives and arrested on November 18 at Dutse, Jigawa State, and brought to Abuja. The police say the alleged offense, bordering on defamation and cyber stalking, contravenes Section 391 of the Penal Code. In a list of witnesses attached to the proof of evidence filed by the police on Wednesday night, Aisha Buhari, the nominal complainant, is one of the 5 witnesses assembled by the prosecution to establish the case against Adamu. The National Association of Nigerian Students, NANS, meanwhile, has condemned the detention of Aminu Adamu over an alleged defamatory post made against the wife of the president, Aisha Buhari. NANS President Usman Barambu, in a statement on Thursday, demanded the unconditional release of the students of the Federal University of Dutse. He also announced a nationwide protest for Monday, December 5, 2022, to press home the demand of the students' body. Barambu specifically said the protest is against Aisha Buhari and the Inspector General of Police, IGP Usman Baba, noting that the demonstration will continue until the student is released. Adamu, a final year student in the Department of Environmental Management and Toxicology at the Federal University of Dutse, Jigawa State, was alleged to have made a post criticizing the wife of the president. He was arrested in November. Justice Halilu Yusuf of the Federal Capital Territory High Court later remanded him at the Suleja Correctional Center in Edo State for cyber stalking. Meanwhile, the reported arrest of Adamu has caused a social media storm, with thousands of users calling for his release. Also, a global rights group, Amnesty International, has demanded the student's release. An unspecified number of passengers in an 18-seater bus have been allegedly abducted at Ochadamu along Ayigba Itobe Road in a full local government area of Kogi State. An eyewitness stated that the incident happened around 4 p.m. on Monday at a kidnapping hotspot on the highway. The report from the areas stated that the hoodlums in their numbers flagged down the bus at gunpoint and whisked the passengers to the bush. The bus was said to be heading for Abuja from the eastern region of the country. The security operatives, including the vigilantes in the areas, were said to be making frantic efforts to rescue the kidnapped victims since the incident happened. However, Navy Commander Jerry Omojara, retired, the state security advisor to Governor Yahaya Bello, confirmed the incident on Thursday, adding that the state government was on top of the situation. Now, troops of Operation Forest Sanity have discovered 2 unidentified female victims killed by bandits and also rescued 3 kidnapped victims from Chikun Forest in Kaduna State. The Commissioner for Internal Security and Home Affairs, Samuel Arawan, who disclosed this in a statement on Wednesday, said the troops also destroyed several bandits' camps during the operations. Arawan said the feedback to the Kaduna State government revealed that the troops engaged the bandits around Kwanti Chikun local government area. The corpses were evacuated while the rescued victims have reunited with their families after first aid was administered to one of them who was nursing an injury. Reports say the bandits fled into the forest, leaving behind 4 motorcycles recovered by the troops. The troops burnt down the dozens of camps in sight. You're watching News Update on Trust Television. Coming up after the break. Borno government resettles over 12,000 displaced persons. Please stay with us. Trust TV, documenting the Nigerian story. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is the news update on Trust Television. A recap of our top stories. Federal High Court affirms Adebutu as People's Democratic Party governorship candidate in Ogun State. And Nigeria's First Lady Aisha Buhari to testify against university students Aminu Adamu over alleged defamatory tweet as NANS plans nationwide protest on Monday. Moving on to other stories now, President Muhammadu Buhari has harshly criticized some state governors for the endemic corruption at the local government system, which he says is inhibiting development at the grassroots. The president spoke on Thursday at State House Abuja at the parley with members of the Senior Executive Course 44 of the National Institute for Policy and Strategic Studies, KURU. He narrated his personal experience on stemming the tide of corruption in the local government system after the presentation of the report of the NIPS Section 44. Describing what was happening as a terrible thing, the president urged public office holders to be guided by their conscience and personal integrity.
The treatment of local governments. What they did, this is my personal experience. If the monies from the federal government to state government, say it's 100 million, let's put it 100 million. 50 million will be sent to the chairman with a letter that he will sign that he received 100 million. The governor will pocket the balance and share it with whoever he wanted. And then the chairman of the local government will see how much he must pay in salaries to help goes to development.
The Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said since the inception of the present political dispensation in 1999, no administration has given all sorts of financial interventions to states like the Buhari administration. The minister made the comment at the 6th series of the PMB administration scorecard at the nation's capital. Noel Sampson has details.
Speaking at the opening ceremony of the 6th series of the PMB scorecard, the Minister of Information and Culture, Lai Mohammed, said the financial interventions came to the state government at the time they needed it the most.
When the administration assumed office in 2015, at least 27 states could not pay salaries. Imagine what would have happened if Mr. President had not offered a helping hand without discrimination to the states. But for Mr. President, most of the states would have been plunged into serious socio-economic crisis with their consequences for the country.
The Minister of Finance, Budget and National Planning, Zainab Ahmed, who was at the event, highlighted the performance of her ministry just like other ministers did from the first series.
In January 2019, we launched the Strategic Revenue Growth Initiative to drive our mandate of domestic revenue mobilization. We needed to move our domestic revenues from the rate that time, which was 8% of GDP, to 15%. And we had moved this to 9% before the COVID-19, and then we slid down again to 8%. So we're still on the journey to that 15% revenue to GDP. But what we've been able to do, despite the challenges, and recall that we have witnessed 2 recessions during the tenure of this administration, the non-oil revenue share of funding the federal government, we've been able to succeed in turning it around. The non-oil revenue used to contribute between 30 to 35% to the federal budget. Now it is 73% financing of the federal budget. And that's very significant. That is to emphasize that the non-oil sector is growing and contributing significant, and that is what is really holding the economy now, that it is the oil sector that is lagging behind.
According to this scorecard, the administration of President Muhammadu Buhari had made significant progress, especially in the areas of financial intervention. Noel Samson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Borno State government has officially shut down Gubiu IDP camp in Maiduguri. The symbolic exercise flagged off by the Deputy State Governor will see the resettlement of over 12,000 displaced persons to their ancestral homes. The displaced persons were given relief materials and cash to support them in their respective communities. The Deputy Governor, Usman Kadafer, said the camp closure is a result of improved security across the state.
So we want to call upon each and any of you who, if notice any suspicious movement, they should report it. And also, where there is caveat of movement within that your environment, you shouldn't extend beyond the borders that are stipulated to you, so that when you obey it, I think it will make it easier for them to operate within your localities.
We were given bags of rice and maize, cooking oil, a blanket and kitchen utensils, and others. I really appreciate the government for all the items given to us. When I go back to my local government, I will farm to sustain my family. The last visit of the governor, he said we can decide to live in Maiduguri or go back to our ancestral homes. But for me, I will go back to Marte local government with my children.
You're still watching News Update on Trust TV. We take a short break and we'll be back with more stories. Please stay with us.
That's great. It's good to see you.
Welcome back, and in business news, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited, NNPCL, says it has 2 billion liters of premium multi-spirit PMS in stock. Now, this is contained in a statement issued by the Executive Vice President downstream of the NNPCL Limited, Adeyemi Adetunji. Adetunji said the stock of over 2 billion liters is equivalent to over 30 days of sufficiency. The NNPCL, he said, has programmed vessels and trucks to unconstrained depots, while massive loadouts from depots to states are closely monitored to ease fuel queues. Adetunji said that Abuja was impacted by the challenges recorded in Lagos, adding that NNPCL retail and queue marketers had intensified dedicated loading into Abuja to restore normalcy. On the foreign scene, South Africa's ruling ANC party will hold emergency talks this Thursday, the day after a report into scandal-hit President Cyril Ramaphosa paved the way for his possible impeachment. Pressure has mounted on the president after a special panel probing a burglary scandal at Ramaphosa's farm concluded that there was enough evidence to warrant a preliminary or parliamentary debate on whether he should be removed. The report established that the president may have committed serious violations of parts of the Constitution and anti-corruption laws. Following the report, his party's National Executive Committee will hold urgent talks to discuss the farm theft scandal, an ANC official told the AFP. Now, coming 2 weeks before the ANC holds its crucial conference where it is due to elect new leadership, the report has dealt a serious blow to Ramaphosa's re-election bid. And in sports news, Morocco became the very first African team to top a World Cup group for 24 years after beating Canada 2-1 on Thursday. First half goals from Hakim Ziyech and Youssef En-Nesyri proved enough, with Nayef Aguet's own goal, the first of the tournament. nothing more than a consolation for a Canadian side or return home without a point. Morocco must now wait for Thursday's Group E games to see who they will face in the last 16 at Education City Stadium on Tuesday. Meanwhile, Belgium are out of the FIFA World Cup after a 0-0 draw against 2018 runners-up Croatia. Former Nigerian Professional Football League champions Kano Pillars FC have signed Evans Ogenyi as the new technical advisor ahead of the 2022-2023 Nigerian National League season. Prior to press time, the former Warri Wolves coach was being unveiled at the Kano State Sports Commission by the acting chairman of the club, Ibrahim Galadima. The former Premier League club found themselves in relegation waters last season, a situation that prompted the management to sack the coaching crew of the Saima Sugida and call for the submission of applications from interested persons to take up the job. The new coach, fondly called Jose Mourinho of Nigerian football, is known for his tactical prowess. He has coached NPFL clubs like Nasarawa United, Enyimba, Lobby Stars, Ocean Boys, where he won the FA Cup title. And with that sports story, we've come to the end of News Update this hour. Many thanks for watching. But just before we go, do remember that you can contact us and connect with us across all our social media platforms. I am Nten Ekpan. Thanks for watching. Bye-bye.